Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Jim Ewing here with Provision Solutions and a special Marketplace Ministries update. The year 2020 started out with promise, but things soon went sideways when COVID-19 forced a number of changes to everybody's plans. Our final meeting for the season was at risk of being canceled, but thanks to some great help from friends at the King's University in Edmonton, we were able to extend our meeting virtually and record the presentations. We trust you'll enjoy this segment featuring Mark Ryan as he shares insights regarding the 5 gears from Giant Worldwide. We'll pick up the session as I introduce Mark to our audience. And hey, if you'd like to be a part of our Marketplace Ministries Network, please listen to the information we have for you at the end of this video and see the comments that are in this video description. We would love to have you as part of our collaborative Christian community. Thanks. And now, here's our presentation. That we are privileged to have with us Mark Ryan. Mark has been sharing with us over our 5 meetings over the course of the year from something from Giant Worldwide called the 5 Gears. Mark, it's been wonderful to have you participate with us in each of these meetings. I'm going to turn it over to you to share with us a bit of a recap and also maybe a little more in depth with the one remaining gear that we have not yet focused on.
Okay, thanks, Jim. So this is the last in this series for the year. And so for any newcomers, I'm just going to give a quick overview of the 4 gears that we've covered throughout the year, and then we're going to dive into first gear, and we've got a special bonus gear. So here we go. The 5 gears were developed by Steve Cockram and Jeremy Kubicek of Giant Worldwide, and it is a tool that allows us to be present, productive, connected, and socially aware. And being socially aware, especially in times like we're in now, allow us to connect more vibrantly with others and increase our influence and leadership abilities. Most people live in the pain of not being present and suffer the consequences of being socially disconnected. And so the key to becoming, the key is to become present of our shortfalls, but the process of becoming aware might cause us a tendency to beat ourselves up at times. But we want to move from this conscious incompetence that we have to a conscious competence to lead ourselves so that we can lead others better. And so as I've been rambling on, the 5 gears there. So we've got 5th gear was focus mode. 4th gear, of course, is the task-driven mode, where we spend the majority of our time. 3rd gear is social time. 2nd gear is about connecting deeply. And 1st gear is purposeful and mindful recharge time. So as we review the past 5 gears and we think about focus mode, I found this quote. It says, "Stay focused so you can finish well what God has called you to do." And so for some, the thought of getting in the zone without interruption is what really revs our engine, and that's what 5th gear is. And so for others, you're not really sure what that even looks like. You're so busy in task mode all the time that you're not exactly sure what focus looks like. So the idea of being fully absorbed and engaged in a task to the point of everything in the periphery falls away and all you see is what's in front of you, and that's true focus mode. And so given the current propensity for all of us to multitask and plus the technological distractions we face, it's difficult to get into 5th gear, let alone stay there. And so we just want to be able to get into this mode when it's appropriate to be there and kind of cut off everything and get the job done that we need to get done. 4th gear is our task mode. And so Jim and I must have been thinking along the same wavelengths. We've shared the same verse. So whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord. And that is task mode. We live in a task-driven, dominated world, and the desire for productivity leads to a desire to want to move from one task to another, checking all of the boxes off as we go. And so task-mindedness can become a habit or a way of life. The only issue with that is sometimes we jump from task to task so quickly, we don't engage, we don't come out of fourth gear back into third to slow down to maybe socially connect with others, or we never allow ourselves that time to go deep into one focus area and to shift up into fifth gear. Third gear is about socially connecting. It's social mode. And just as Ecclesiastes tell us, two people are better than one, for they can help each other succeed. A healthy third gear, it looks like lunch with colleagues, but conversations that are not dominated by work projects or tasks, but a mix of humor, small talk, life, and maybe a bit of work thrown in. It could look like a weekend party or a round of golf, after work gathering, or just a simple game night. And third gear is really a mindset. It's the space between that task-driven, hyper-focused work and the absolute no-work relational connection of being with family or with a close friend, which then drives us to second gear. And Amos gives us some good insight about second gear. Can two walk together except they be agreed? And so second gear is about having that ability to connect deeply and be present with someone who brings you joy, whether that's colleagues or family or friends. And it's time for relationship building without an agenda or pressure to be productive. It is that time when the conversation matters more than the outcome of the conversation. And I would think in these times that we're in, and we've kind of heard the language change from our chief medical officer of health. We've heard her change the language from social distancing to being physically distant, but staying socially connected. So I think it's extremely important that we learn second gear right now, and it is a time to be aware of being in second gear and connecting with others. And that brings us to first gear, and that is recharge mode. And for this, I took a verse out of Psalms 23. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And I can't think of a better way than what recharge might look for us of people of faith. And that would be time in the Word or time in prayer. The one thing about first gear is that it needs to be intentional. When you're charged up and rested well, you have the ability to impact those around you, which will impact your influence. And so, but recharge, it does look different for different types of people. For an introvert like myself, it can look like we generally recharge internally. So it can look like sleeping. Introverts usually need a little more. Reading, usually like novels or biographies. Not something that's going to put us into like a task mode, but something that we can relax and read and maybe take pieces from, but it's not for any other purpose but to recharge. Devotions or meditation time, prayer time, or time to pursue individual hobbies, and they're usually solo hobbies. Things could be like running or cycling, or even woodworking or puzzles or things like that, just those individual hobbies. Recharge, on the other hand, for extroverts, it looks a little different because recharge happens from external power sources. So for an extrovert person, say like my friend Jim, recharge happens, it could be time with a mentor. Extroverts need to talk out loud to hear their ideas with someone they trust. Could be a second gear time. So getting recharged with people, especially those they care a great deal for. Reading, but for an extrovert, that could be books that bring inspiration and are highly applicable. And then exercise would be a class type of exercise rather than a solo pursuit. So that jazzercise class that you're doing, Jim, keep it up. It's helping you to recharge.
Now that is funny, Mark. Thanks.
So my question to you is, what does recharge look for you? Because to know yourself is to lead yourself. And so here's some questions that you want to ask yourself. First of all, are you an introvert or an extrovert? Are you pursuing recharge tasks that match who you are and how you're wired? How much sleep do you need, and do you get it regularly? How long is your commute? How busy is your morning time? Do you have young kids? What do you do in the evening? Are you disciplined by nature? So these are just some things that you can ask yourself so that you can kind of drive into what recharge looks like for you. Because we need to know that rest is our secret weapon, and we want to work from rest, not rest from work. That would be the goal in all of this. So ways you can do this is schedule your rest days. There are analogies of people that take their calendar before the year starts and they schedule their rest days for the year. They schedule, maybe it's every Sunday for you as a day off, and you know you're going to take that 3-week vacation, or maybe you're blessed with 6 weeks of vacation a year. But you schedule that your rest days early in the year, and or when you can, so that you know that they're coming up, so you can know that recharge time is coming up. So then it allows you to sprint afterwards to work from your rest and not just take a break from work. Rest and recharge provides greater clarity and focus and leads to better decision making and communication. You can't be in fourth gear all the time. You will run out of gas, you'll wear out, the engine will seize, and you will crash, which is not first gear. That's a danger sign. And it allows you to handle pressure and restore a proper internal rhythm. So some signs of unhealthy first gear. Escapism from reality might be your norm, or too much time is dedicated to first gear and not connecting with others. Maybe you over-focus on exercise and diet because they've become tasks for you and not a way to recharge. You get lost in a new idea or book most every week. Maybe there's something new and you're constantly just chasing that wheel. Your personal recharge dictates everyone else's schedule, or you use work or studying as an excuse to avoid people. Maybe binging on a TV series or computer gaming as a way to escape. Or you rely on a very small number of relationships without connecting to the broader world. Of course, these are signs that, a lot of these are signs that you're under stress and not that you are in a healthy recharge mode, even though some of it seems like you're recharging. So the point of all this, though, at the end is to get healthy. So you want to know your wiring and what healthy recharge looks like for you. Trade up your time to the most healthy activity as it relates to both relationship and recharge. Put healthy boundaries on your recharge time. Perhaps 2 episodes of your favorite Netflix show is enough and not the entire season. Practice third gear by widening your network of relationships. Invite others to exercise with you. If you're introverted like me, maybe there's somebody that wants to go for a run with you. Or learn to value how other people recharge. And now, like I said, we've got a bonus gear, and that is reverse. And reverse means being responsive. And we all know reverse is a helpful gear in our day-to-day lives. In a vehicle, it gives us the ability to parallel park or hook up a trailer or fit into a tight spot. It allows us to be nimble and change direction quickly in a tight space. The 3-point turn couldn't be possible without reverse. Responsive people are generally self-aware and have a consciousness that is not steeped in victim mentality, but rather in responsibility. And admitting your mistakes increases your influence because people respect people who admit their mistakes and hustle to do better next time, rather than people who blame others for their mistakes. And there's a healthy reverse and unhealthy reverse. So unhealthy is apologizing as a way to get what you want, or constantly using self-deprecation or false humility, or you use apologize to manipulate other people. what it looks like on the healthy side is you understand what a sincere apology looks like. You don't over apologize, but you're clear and concise and authentic in your apologies. And, even using a journal to write down what you've learned. Reverse should lead you to epiphanies on your character or competency, so you don't continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And so if you want to learn more about the 5 gears, you can always check out the Liberator podcast. It's available on Apple Podcasts. Or you can you can also check out giant.tv. And if you use my link that's there, giant.tv/Mark Ryan, you can get 30 days free of the platform. And it is a great learning platform that you can use personally, or you can sign up corporately, use it for your, if you've got a training department and you wanted some leadership development materials, it's something available for that as well. But that's all I have. So I am going to shut myself off. Thanks everybody for listening to me again. And thanks, Jim, for having me for another season.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Mark. And if you're ever looking for an exercise class or jazzercise class, just send me a text message. I'll send you to an invite to the next one, okay?
Awesome.
That was funny. Very funny. Okay. I'm going to do a share screen now. Thanks for being with us. We trust you found us to be helpful. And if so, please give us a like, a follow, and a share. You know, the Bible says in Matthew 5:16, "Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." If you're launching or growing a business, a ministry area, or a special project, or if you're involved in helping them as a resource or service provider, we'd love to have you participate with us. Stay informed of upcoming events and items of interest by subscribing to the Marketplace Ministries update sent out periodically. May God bless you as you do your best to faithfully represent Jesus Christ in the marketplaces of life.